Joshua, please mute yourself. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, please give a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Christian Okemwa from ACCUREX. I'll be your moderator for the day. Today's topic is stress management and resilience for high pressure work environments. And it will be presented by Kevin Omolo, a familiar face, if I may say, here at ACCUREX O'Clock.
Yes, I have.
Yes. So ACCUREX is a human resource consultant company. Our primary offices are located at or along Mombasa Road at Ends Business Park, Block A, second floor. We offer various services. Some of the services are human resource consulting, obviously, is coaching and mentoring. We also have team building services, recruitment, payroll management, outsourcing, CV writing, letters, and LinkedIn profile. We also have our software that we also offer. It's called People HRIS. It's basically the automated side of HR where we deal with less of paper and more of systems, so you can access it on the go. So, without further much ado, as people are continuing to join, I'd like to welcome Kevin to continue, and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. A round of applause for him for the excellent introduction, as always. Yes, thank you, Rebecca. I'm glad to be back. Glad to see everyone. This will mainly be a refresher. For some, maybe they will have attended last year sometime. We gave a similar training. So this will be a good follow-up to see whether some of the proposals we had done last year were followed through. But then for the new coming ones, I'm hoping that this will also be maybe food for thought or something that could be that they could apply in their day-to-day. A quick check. Am I audible? Thumbs up. I am? Okay, thank you, April. Thank you, Grace. Okay, I appreciate the feedback. So, the workshop is stress management and resilience for high pressure work environments. And our theme, as always, is we like to thrive under pressure, not just survive it. And that will move on quickly to our next slide. So what are the key objectives? As always, I like to start with the objectives so that we can put things in context. What are the key objectives that we want to start today? We would like to remind ourselves what our workplace, to understand what workplace stress is and the impact it has on our day-to-day. Why is it significant? To understand how stress in the workplace can impact our day-to-day. Identify personal and organizational stressors. Stress can be two ways. It could be for you as an individual, or it could be organizationally induced. Um, Learn strategies to manage the stress effectively, depending on where it's coming from. If it's a personal or individual issue, you can learn how to manage it. If it's coming out from the organization, you can learn how to collectively address it. Build resilience for long-term performance. Yes, we would like to be able to survive sustainably all through our work life. We don't want to expire by the time we are finishing our day-to-day, or even by the time we are retiring. We like to thrive in those environments that we are in. Yeah. And then apply practical tools for work-life balance. And the other day, somebody was telling me it's very difficult to get what work-life balance is about, especially in this digital age where you have emails, you have WhatsApp, you have things like ClickUp, you have Slack. There's always something happening in one platform or another. You have Teams, maybe messages coming in. So it's very difficult to get that balance nowadays. So that is what we like to apply, some of these practical tools so that we can balance. And before we continue on, I like to do a quick poll to just gauge our current work situations. And you can be able to respond to me in the chat box. In terms of stress levels, where are we at? At the green, laughing, crying emoji means our stress levels are being handled effectively. All is good, all is well. In the middle, we see that one with the open mouth. It's a bit of a worrying phase. They're maybe in the middle, they're a bit of anxious. Or are we at the red where we are crying? We are always crying. So feel free to respond in the chat box by a reaction, or to respond by a reaction. Let me gauge the reactions that I'm getting. Amen is in the center. Okay. ACCUREX, no stress at all. They're laughing all the way. They're handling and managing the work pressures. Who else? Anybody else with a reaction to give? Yes, CIRP in the middle. Yes, Sarah, I've seen. All of us, the others. Okay, Jean in the middle. Doreen, Zach also in the middle. Hey, okay. So I guess most of us are in the middle. We are. April is laughing all the way, meaning they're able to manage their stress. Okay, let me see in the chat box. Rebecca is very specific. Say, yesterday I almost blew up, but thank God for my self-awareness and emotional intelligence. So it's a moving gauge. So it's almost coming to blowing up and then coming back. So depending on the situation of the person. Okay, so that's very good to see. Okay. Thank you very much for that feedback. So by that quick poll, most of us are in the center, meaning we can fall either way. And it's good to recognize that. Yeah. Okay. So I move on to, we've gauged ourselves where we're at. Now I want to see, can we understand where what stress is? When we say I am stressed, what do we mean? The other day I saw it was a 5-year-old telling the mother that they are so stressed. And the mother was like, hey, they do not know what is lying ahead. But anyway, that's one of those things. When we say we're stressed, what do we mean? What do we mean? So stress is the body's response to demands or pressures. Yeah. It could be the things that we have been assigned, roles that have been assigned to us, and they have deadlines or something of that sort, and we need to deliver. And we need to deliver based on quality as well. So that could be, when we talk about stress, that's what we mean. As in, how is our body responding to these demands or the pressures that have been occasioned upon to us? And these could be of different categories. And one could be eustress. They always say a certain amount of stress is helpful. I don't know how true that is, or how many of us share the same thumbs up that a certain amount of stress is helpful? Do we hold that view as well? Or are we of a contrary view? Uh-huh. Okay, I see April, just a certain amount. Yes, Mudon is there. Yes, yes. So a certain amount of stress is helpful. So you can't also be without a bit of stress. It helps us to focus. It also motivates our performance. Yeah, when you have demands or pressures of life, they help us feel a sense of achievement. It will be interesting to go how life will be without any form of stress or demands or pressures for you to achieve. It might be boring. Yeah. And then there's the other additional other category called distress. Yeah. But this is when demands is exceeding our capacity. It can turn to be harmful. Yeah. And this will be prolonged workload without recovery. I don't know. Maybe Rebecca, it was almost heading towards you blowing out because of a certain demand. Maybe you can share what exactly made you almost get to that point. Uh, mm, Sorry, is somebody unmuting? Okay. So maybe Rebecca, you can share in the chat box what will have caused you to almost come to the point of blowing up and what made you go back. Clearly, it's your emotional intelligence and self-awareness. So distress, there are certain things, occasions, or certain demands that are laid upon us that sometimes um, exceed our capacity. It could be physical capacity, could be professional capacity, could be even in terms of the position you're in within the organization that you cannot be able to execute. You are limited, and yet everybody is putting pressure on you. So I don't know how many people have been occasioned by such, and feel free to share such examples. Yes, Rebecca has shared it was work related, um, and the team, but we sorted out everything with the team today in the morning. Glad to hear it. So yeah, so that could be a bit something that involves more than her carrying out the role itself. It involved a team effort. So it's something that she needed everybody to come in on board. And by the time the particular task was coming, maybe everybody had already gone home or something of that sort. I don't know. But we get those situations where somebody's sending an email at 4:59 and they were quiet the whole day with something that you might have sent early in the morning at 8. And then they respond at 4:59 with, I need you to change this, that, and the other. This doesn't look good. Did you consult with so and so on this? I need so and so to sign off on this. So you find that your workload now becomes immense. Something you thought you had completed, it's coming in the 11th hour. Yes. So other categories of stress could include short term. That's another categorization. It could just be for a while. And sometimes that is when we're in a very painful or uncomfortable situation. It could be short term, especially if you're getting tongue lashing from your boss. We're hoping it's a short term msoma, as we call it. It could be chronic, and that is it's persistent all through your life. Yeah, it's following you everywhere, every other day. You have to encounter the same. And Gen Zs are very good at this when they say toxic environment. For them, they cannot sustain anything that is going to mess up their mental psyche. Or it could be episodic. It could be based on on a current project. So every time a project is happening, maybe that's when the stress factor comes in because you have to deliver within certain timelines, work with people. Yeah. Mhm. So these are usually just based on the duration. So it depends on the time frame in terms of what you'll be handling at that time. Are we together? So far, so good. Yeah, thumbs up. You're still together? Oh, very good. Okay. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Miriam. Yeah. Thank you, Moses. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. Okay. So we've looked at poll. We found out that for us, we're just in a balance of, we're just in the middle. It can go either way depending on what we are doing. We've gone to understand what stress is. We have understand that it's the body's responding to the pressures we're having in life. As in, how are we responding to it? We've all agreed that a certain amount of demand or pressures in our work life, especially, are good because they can motivate us to perform. You can get a sense of achievement. That is eustress, and then the distress. We've seen that there are things that can come that are beyond our capacity to handle, and these are the ones that now might be giving us those aspects of we're in a high pressure environment and we cannot manage that stress. And we also seen the categories of stress based um, on where we and on the duration we're experiencing such things. So now we want to go to signs of workplace stress specifically, so that when you see this, you'll know, okay, this is somehow a stress factor. This is somehow something. It's no longer eustress. It's become distress. It's become beyond my capacity to handle. This might have effects on my body. So what are those signs that you feel? And I remember one time I was doing this training and I asked, what are the signs of workplace stress? And one person told me it's when the CEO comes to the office, then they know that is going to be a stressful day. I don't know whether we also share a similar, that when there is somebody, when they come into your office, everybody gets worked up. Or you find there's one colleague who is into everybody's business, and that is their stressor. So, so sometimes the signs of a stress could be an individual. Though we say we need to be able to work with everybody and anybody. Yeah. So these are the indicators of stress in the workplace, in the workplace, and they could be one, physical. So, are you experiencing aspects such as fatigue? Are you feeling a bit of burnout? Are you getting headaches on a regular? Those are very, very telltale signs of stress within the workplace. If every day you're getting to work and you're feeling a type of way, that is a clear sign. Maybe you need to calm down, take some time off, or even seek assistance if it's on a certain particular task you're doing. There is emotional. This could be anxiety, irritability, and burnout, especially when it comes to working as a team. Yeah, you might find that sometimes you're very irritable and you're very short with people. So at times it calls for, as Rebecca had mentioned earlier, emotional intelligence. Yeah, see within yourselves what is making me irritated. Yeah, and it could be something as simple as just somebody walking in, you don't like them, you don't like the perfume they have, and because you're stressed out, you are acting out emotionally. So if you see you're acting out emotionally on a regular, maybe it's time to look inward. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then behavior. So behavioral could be absenteeism, low productivity, and conflicts. And this will best be exhibited by when somebody maybe used to show up at 8. Now there's a bit of tiredness in terms of even responding to emails. Now there's a bit of, they come up late every other time. You find that they're always having an excuse of not getting to work on time. The assignments are not being delivered on time. So even for us, especially for a manager or a human resource professional, that could be a sign of, okay, maybe there's a stressing factor, and it could be through the organization. Sometimes you might assume it's the person. I don't know whether any of us are experiencing any of these symptoms or signs, or or at one time they felt one was more prevalent than the other. Maybe you can let me know in the chat box, or if you want, you can also always unmute and also share your experience as to that one time you felt you were stressed out, but you could not tell, because sometimes some of these things we think is just I was born that way scenario, but it's actually a stress situation you're facing, or it's a sign of stress at the workplace. Yeah. Any, are we together so far? Yeah, I've lost all of you. Okay. Okay, thumbs up if you're together. Okay. Um, uh, so So I'll ask another, is this making sense in terms of within the situation that when you feel, has anybody seen some of these signs? In the chat box, you can let me know which one are the most frequent. Mm. Is it the emotional, the physical, or the behavioral in terms of a sign of a stressor? Yeah, Jensen has let me know irritability. Yeah, so the emotional. Yeah, that can happen in an instant. Sometimes you can't even tell. ah, Pamphylia. I hope I have pronounced it correctly. Headache. Wow. Yeah, that must be clearly a chronic situation being faced. A man talks about behavioral and emotional. So aspects of absenteeism, low productivity, and then irritability and anxiety. Okay. For Zach, headaches and anxiety. Yeah. Well, when you're getting headaches is not a that's you are at the tail end of the stress meter. Okay. Vincent has confirmed a lot of colleagues become anxious or conflict start from the blue. Okay, I like the way you put it from out. They come from nowhere, but clearly there's always somewhere. There's a point of origin. Yeah, the conflicts and learning games. Yes, yes, yes. That is very true. If you find that you're always looking for someone to blame or passing along the blame, that means that's a high pressure environment. That's a stressful environment, and that's a consistent chronic environment where whenever you're having meetings, if you find that every meeting is a conflict, that already shows what type of environment it is. So it's good. Thank you very much for your contribution. So we have understood what stress is. We've taken a quick poll earlier, and we were looking at stress levels just to gauge. And now we have seen what the signs of stress in the workplace are. But then, like I mentioned, that sometimes it feels like these things are coming out of the blue. That you don't know. Jensen had said, you don't know where the conflict is starting from. You just said one word, and all of a sudden people are on your case. So now we want to see, okay, where does it come from? Yeah? What are those signs that are in that high pressure work environment or in a work environment that are bringing in those signs of stress at the workplace? Yeah. So when you're seeing there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of anxiety, everybody is always saying, I have a migraine. I have a migraine. Can I take something for my headache? Then that is already very telling that this is not a high pressure environment and everybody seems to be stressed out. So what ideally will be the trigger? And by this I don't you don't necessarily give me the name of one person in an organization. Yeah. Like for that previous training. So we want to look at those triggers and not single out individuals as a stressor. And one of them could be so these are the situations or conditions or events that cause employees to feel stressed, overwhelmed, or under intense pressure. Yeah. So these are circumstances. It's situational. Yeah. And then it could be a one-off event or something that has happened that can cause you to feel like you're stressed, overwhelmed, and under pressure. So one of them could be heavy workload and tight deadlines, especially if multiple priorities clash. I used to work in an organization where everything always seemed to be urgent, everything always seemed to be important, and you'll find that every day there will be one crisis after another. It's just firefighting all throughout. So what will happen is, uh, in such an environment, what do you expect when it comes to turnover? Do you expect it to be high or low? Yeah, where you're always being told this is urgent, this is you haven't done this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Do you find that it's easy for staff to be thriving in such an environment? Mm. Yeah. Mm. So you'd find that heavy the workload is there, and you're given tight deadlines, and you're given And then you're being told constantly that this is a priority, this is a priority. Even when you try to organize them, the CEO does not allow you. And in most founder organizations, founder-run organizations, where the CEO or the MD is the founder of the company or the organization, we find that this is usually the case. There's always a mentality of we're not doing enough. Everything has to be done. We at the same time and within the deadlines that they are prescribing, they might sometimes overpromise. Yeah. So the next one will be aspects of constant change or uncertainty. Mhm. Like today we decide that we want to do a strategy, and tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, when you're about to implement, the strategy has changed. I don't know whether any of us has ever experienced that or on this, that you discuss on something and tomorrow you find that things are already changed and you're told you did not look at your messages, you don't look at your email, you don't look at your WhatsApp. Sometimes it happens even something as simple as going for a client meeting. I leave work at 5. We decide tomorrow morning, yes, we meet at 8 o'clock at a certain place, and then we're going to engage a client. Where you're at 8 o'clock, you're asking people where they're at. You didn't know we changed that yesterday. Oh no, the meeting has changed. We are not going today. We are going today. You don't read your messages, so you're wondering in the middle of the night, uh, when was this meeting being held, or the people who hold the meeting at the meeting? Yeah. Like there's one time we had people called deep state. There's what is discussed in the plenary, and then there's what is discussed in the background. So when you come to the office the next day, everybody else has resolved on something else. You find yourself, you are the one who's still stuck on what was discussed yesterday as a task plan. Everybody has moved past that. They're like, we are now at this stage. We already moved past. So those uncertainties or constant change can give you a lot of pressures. Jensen, I saw you laughing. I would like to hear what your experiences are with regards to that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another one could be
Uh,
issues of high response. Yes, Jensen.
oh, so sorry for interrupting you. I was laughing
It's
because
okay.
I can relate to that scenario where,
Yeah.
let me give a scenario. We were working on a
Sure.
project and we leave the meeting. This is your role. This is your role. 2 days later, I pull up with my results and they're like, no, 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 no. We
Yes.
told you to do this. I was like, wait, what do you mean? They're like, we talked about it. I'm like, we? Who is we? Clearly, I'll be part of this we.
Yes.
It's a very funny thing.
Yes. So you are wondering who are the parties, who are the minutes, who signed off on this, and everybody seems to be on board apart from you. So those are the scenarios we get in terms of high stress situations. So if you find that constant change, even when you're going forward, you'll keep on feeling you're like the outsider within the organization. And very soon you'll keep on wondering whether they don't want to work with you or something else. Um, and then I'd come here to the aspect of thank you very much for Jensen. I forgot. We shall can do a round of applause for him. Feel free to, yeah, for his contribution. Thank you. Yes, ACCUREX. Yes, yeah. It's good to appreciate people. I almost forgot that bit of always acknowledge when everybody contributes. Yeah, it's a good thing to have. Thank you very much for that example. And then there's the aspect of high responsibility with low control or influence. Yeah, you're told, and sometimes this is what we call throwing people under the bus. You find that sometimes you are blamed for things that were not your power to do. And this you get mostly, especially if you're in a client-oriented kind of organization where customer experience is key. Somebody tells you, this is what I want, you tell them, I don't think this can work for you. And then when somebody senior app comes, they say, no, definitely you can do that. Yet, in your policy, it's not supposed to happen that way. So they start asking, who told you we cannot? So they say, no, that we can do. So you went with the rules that you are given. You're going and there someone wants to negotiate, and then they tell you supposed to listen out and negotiate on the rules. And maybe it's an issue of pricing. You're told you can't go below a certain amount when it comes to selling a product. Yet your boss is constantly selling them below that amount. So, and every time you try to sell at a discount, you get the backlash of this will be taken out of your pay. So you start wondering, why are we being treated differently? Yeah. I saw thumbs up. Nobody can relate with that. So these are not things that are alien to us. It's just that when they happen, sometimes we normalize them as this is just work. And I tell you, millennials have that the trauma of just accepting everything and anything because we were taught it's better to be better seen than heard. So let them see you working than hear you complaining about this and that and the other. But for them, they'll tell you, you can employ me at 8 a.m. If things don't work out by 5, I'm tendering in my resignation letter. So, just to a quick recap, that not losing anyone. So, we started out by understanding what our work situation is and where we are at in terms of the stress pool. Understood what stress could be, positive and negative, or it could be based on the duration in terms of what we're experiencing. You have seen the signs of stress, mostly emotional and behavioral are the key ones to look out for. And by the time they get into the physical, it means it's a chronic situation. And then we've seen effects of high triggers, high pressure triggers at work, and by those now we've come to understood, okay, that it could be issues of load, issues of constant change or uncertainty, issues of high responsibility, and some of these things can be happening, and we can assume it's the regular, like Ensign has mentioned. You deliver on the supposed to, somebody tells you, no, you are so supposed to be something else, and we discussed on it. Yet you are not involved. How frustrating can that be? Yeah. One last one before I move on to the next, work-life imbalance. Yeah, I was saying we live in an age where your boss can get you anytime, anywhere. Yeah, there's no shutting down. If they're not getting you on email, which is already enabled on your phone, they're getting you on your WhatsApp. If not on your WhatsApp, they're getting you through the Teams, or there's another group maybe that has been formed. You're always accessible. So to your boss and your colleagues. So you find that there's a bit of an imbalance. So there's always somebody asking you, can you do for me a favor? If you hear somebody asking you to do them a favor, just know it's work that needs to be done outside normal work hours. Or it's a work you're going to be in spite of your workflow that you have. So I don't know, but thumbs up. Are we relating with some of these things? Does anyone want to share an idea? You can always unmute and tell us what your experiences has been in this scenario, in this context. Always feel free also to do that. Malaysia, thank you very much for that. I see Akide. I'm there with you as well. Thank you for acknowledging. Yes, Patel. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So at this point, I'd want to give a bit of some statistics that have been there in the past in terms of the cost of stress. Oh, I forgot one point. Sorry. I forgot to mention issues of high stakes. Yeah. Where you are told this all belongs to you in terms of the trigger for pressure. High pressure scenarios that trigger stress at the workplace will be high stakes. If everything you are told this all relies on you, like especially if you're in sales or if you're doing collections, and I don't know whether there's anybody who has been in finance, where the boss says, if you don't collect, we will not be able to make payroll. So now you are told to collect. Sometimes you find that there's a sale of 2 there, payroll is 5 million. So you keep on wondering where am I supposed to get the additional two, because account receivables are at two. So now you start giving pressure to the sales team as well, that you'll not be paid if you guys don't make a sale. Yet everybody is struggling everywhere. So you find from the top to even the guard at the gate, they're selling the same product so that they can all make payroll. Yeah, Rebecca was once there. So you've moved on past there in a different situation. Yeah, some of us are still there. So those are stressor situations that you get, high stakes. Okay. So now I'm moving on to the next slide. What would be the cost of stress? You're wondering, why should we care if I'm stressed or not stressed? Why should I care about how it affects? Does it really matter? Isn't stress a normal part and parcel of this? Like I said, for most millennials, stress is part and parcel of life. Yeah, they're taught that you just need to. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets tough. So if you don't get going, then it means you're not tough. Yeah. So what is the cost of stress? First is loss in productivity. Statistics say stress can impair cognitive function, can drain energy, and can reduce focus. The WHO, World Health Organization, put the global cost to productivity at 1 trillion US dollars annually. That is 1 trillion US dollars annually, just because of stress in terms of productivity loss. You can see there's a significant cost linked to the financial aspect or the fiduciary aspect. High staff turnover. A study found that US employees had 2.86 times higher turnover risk for men and 1.52 times higher for women after adjusting for other factors. So does that mean men are more resilient in holding out during stressful situations, or does that mean women have more choices? What are our thoughts on that? But for me, yeah, yeah, that mean men can be more stressed than women and not say. I know, but I think sometimes it could also be an issue of responsibility. Yeah, if you are the breadwinner, most men, okay, in this day and age, things have changed. I know most women might bash me, so let me just put a disclaimer that even women pull their own. But in most situations, you find with men being the breadwinners, maybe they will withstand stress more. Moses is laughing. Yeah. Tatu Alibu, yeah, you say a thumbs up for that. So it could be based on even social aspects and the like. But those are the statistics that that is a high risk turnover for men than 1.5 times for women. It could be more men that are looking in the aspect of mi siwezi acha mtu aende hivyo or something of that sort. That how can another man start lecturing me on issues? Yeah. Women maybe learn more to be submissive and the like. So there are all these scenarios that when I was looking at this, were being presented to me. One was saying, okay, men might tolerate more depending on the situation, circumstances at home. However, maybe it's because of our society, where men are considered to be the head, women are the neck. So they learn more to support from an age-old time. But right now, you find even more women CEOs and more women in the office. There's an area where I think 90%, if not 95%. I went to an office environment of a staff base of around 50. Around 95% was women. So the men were somewhere in between. Yeah. So I think at that time it depends on the scenario in itself. Okay. Increased health costs. The fact is that employees experiencing high levels of stress have shown to incur 50% higher healthcare costs. I don't know how true that is in our situation, because now that attribute to health-seeking behavior as well, where you find a man will only go to the hospital when they're almost dying. A woman will go to regular clinics because when they feel something is off, they'll go check even their blood pressure and the like. So, but yeah, that's the cost of, we're saying 50% higher healthcare cost. So that's significant. And then there are some issues like we have mentioned earlier, absenteeism and presenteeism. Uh, by absenteeism, we already know what that means, that that you have to work for more sick days just to avoid that situation. You only work like tomorrow might be, if we hear there's a strike coming up or there's a protest coming up, there's a likelihood you will not even wait for confirmation. You'll just decide I'm not going to work, I'll work from home. And sometimes it could be just the slightest of things that make you not want to go to the work, to the office environment. Presenteeism, I laugh because being present does not mean necessarily you are productive. That is being productive at work despite feeling well. So that doesn't mean you're okay. So basically, you're compromising on your health, and people are telling you you're coughing all over. I think in times of COVID, we saw a lot of presenteeism because people didn't want to lose their jobs. So somebody will be hiding their cough or cold just so as not to be discriminated and told, I think you have COVID, can you leave? Because there was a lot of downsizing happening. So somebody is forcing themselves, but both will lower overall output. Yeah. Any color so far in terms of the cost of stress? Any questions? Any feedback? Anybody with a contribution to give? Yeah, Patel, I see. Yeah, Jensen, good. Melissa is there. Very good. Yeah. So, Malaysia, I see you. Yes. So, yeah. So, maybe.
Hi.
Yes, yes.
How can somebody avoid that stress? Because sometimes women get so stressful because sometimes men cannot do what we do alone in the house. How can you avoid that stressful when you're at work or when you're doing in the house, you're stressed about everything. You have to
Ah,
go to the shopping, you have to do this. How can you avoid it?
okay. So to get your
Or
question
how
right,
can
Maggie,
you
so you're asking, how can you avoid stress when you have to work at home? You're also expected to, you are expected to manage the
yeah,
house, their kids, and everything. So there's duties
yeah.
that come out of jobs, and then there are duties that come out of the fact that you're also trying to make a living. Yeah, Moanisha, did I get you right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
okay. So anybody wants to take a jab at that? Anybody wants to contribute a response to that? Nobody. Okay. So you let me know if this makes sense. In this day and age, you'll find things are very different from what was during our, or rather, I'll say my parents' time, because first and foremost, I remember they didn't have the cost of living was not as high as it is right now. The cost of living is life is very expensive, especially in the cities. You bear me witness. So that means having a single income household feasible for most people, and also because of the level at which we've had women being empowered through the years. There was girl child programs running, so more and more women are taking up a role in the office and taking up more space in the office. So, what I've come to see that has worked for couples who both of them are working is number one, when it comes to the home, there's an aspect of support. And by that, it means that you are no longer expected to be a superwoman. You'll be getting a house manager to assist in the day. This is, I'm talking from the household aspect. And the men are not asking for the quote unquote who can cook, can clean, can get the babies, can still breastfeed as well, can help the children with the homework, everything they can do. So nowadays there's an aspect of understanding that, especially once you're done with, if you're in Nairobi traffic, if you're not living close to town, can take you to 2 hours to get to wherever you're going. So there's aspect of, yes, there's either house helps, house managers who come in to assist in that aspect, if that is the situation that has been discussed. However, in the work environment, I'm seeing also there's more of a push when it comes to having a mother's room. Yeah, especially for women when they're lactating, especially for women when they're expecting. There's more of a push to have that room such that they can take a break also and go there. It's about equity. It's not just about being fair in the south. So in the workplace now, they're more cognizant of those facts. Another thing I've seen that works very well is having a boss who can give flexible work schedules. By that, especially towards like last week before schools were closing for, if you're not maybe international schools have closed. But I saw most of the time parents had to either attend their child's, maybe there's a presentation or a sports day happening. So there's an aspect of now employers also being cognizant of the fact that what your home dynamic is. And it's not that they want to know so that they can condemn you for it, but also to work out what your dynamics is. I have worked for organizations where I get a flexible work schedule based on how my situations change, because maybe when you're entering the organization, you are single and married. Now you've entered into marriage. That means even projects that are outside of Nairobi that I would have had to go to Lodwar maybe for like 5, 6 days or even a whole month, there's people within the team who are more flexible to do that. So for me now, I'm handling a different client. Yeah. So that I'm only handling things that will not start when I get home. I'm not being told I only care about my job. I don't care about I don't care about my child. So there's that aspect of your employer also now starts also being cognizant of the dynamics that exist within the organization. But all these are about what can you handle. If you feel like you're almost at that point of, yes, I'm at the red zone of the stress, yeah. If you feel like you are almost where, let me go to back that to that slide. So if you feel like you're almost here, yeah, you're almost here at this at the red zone, feel free to also point it out. Don't feel like you have to be superwoman or superman and do everything. So there's that aspect of there has to be that dynamic of at the end of the day, you are still human. There's only so much you can do. I don't know, Mwanaisha, whether I've expounded on your or does that make sense, or is it totally out of this world what I'm saying? Yeah, Mwanaisha, my thumbs up, or was I not audible all through that explanation? Okay, let me know.
Hey, like
You're audible.
I'm
I
not
think
understanding anything. So
network issue from
the
our side.
question I've asked.
Sorry, there are two people speaking. Yes, Monisha, you're saying? Hello. Come again. Okay, I can't hear you. Okay, you can also let me know in the chat box. Amena said, chew what you can handle. Like Kevin said, you don't need to be a superwoman. There's no reward for suffering. Balance your life both at home and at work. Also remember that people are different. Some can handle more than others. Support is very essential at the workplace as well. Having open-minded management and colleagues is a privilege. Yeah, that's good feedback. Yeah, amen. That's good feedback. Let me even throw a thumbs up in terms of that. It's very concise. It's very, yeah. Faith has said there's no reward for balance both and ask for assistance or support. Okay, Faith. Yeah, Monaisha, I see your thumb is up. So I think those are adequate responses that can help. in terms of assist. And yeah, it's always good to realize you're working with a team. So balance it out based on the team. It's not a competition. Yeah. Yeah. Though sometimes office politics make it sound like it is. Okay, thank you very much, Faith. Thank you very much, Mwanaisha, for that question. Thank you very much, Aman, for that comprehensive response. I think they deserve a round of applause for sure. So thank you very much for that contribution. Okay, Tracy, yeah, Moses, yes, has sent his a round of applause. So we've seen what the cause of stress could be, yeah. And now one other aspect of it could be reduce job satisfaction. Eventually, if you loved to do something and it's constantly causing you stress, then that means you'll feel less and less like you're achieving anything from it. You'll not derive pleasure anymore from working or being in a certain place. I'm pretty sure most employers will not want for their employees. Yeah. So we've seen the cost of stress. We've seen what stress is. We've seen what can be triggers of stress. So Manisha has asked a good question. How do we learn to? How can we handle it? And maybe now I move to the next slide for stress management strategies. Yeah. And before I move into that, I like yes, Manisha.
Another question. I'm saying because I'm a single mom.
Yes.
When you're stressed, you are at work and you are at home.
Yes.
So, what can somebody avoid that stress? Even if you let housemate can help, but
Yeah.
they don't you feel when you're tired. When you
Yes.
reach at home, they make sure you're acting like you're normal, but you're not normal. How can you avoid that stressful so that you could keep time on your children and keep
Okay.
time on your work?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the question I was asking. Because a single mother can do everything possible to make the children
Yes.
happy, but himself
Yes.
is so stressful and goes out of pressure, scary, and it cannot help.
Okay. I
So,
hear
as a
you.
young mother like me, what can I do to avoid that stressful thing and to make myself be in two terms with my children and with
Mm,
myself?
mm, mm.
How can it? Because sometimes it can be stressful when
Yes.
your children are talking to you, you are just
You're
talking to
shocked with
them
that.
like, yeah.
Okay. I
What
hear
can
you.
somebody remove that stress?
Somebody? Sorry, I didn't get the last bit, but I got the main bit about, especially for single mothers out there. This is very specific.
Yeah,
And yeah. And I will not claim to be the monopoly of knowledge, especially because I know the role that you're playing a dual role, and you feel like at home there is no more options. It's either you or nothing. If you're not there, then things will not work out. One of the things I've seen for single parents is part and parcel is if it's possible, family. Have the support of family around, family and friends. By friends, I even mean neighbors sometimes do come and pitch in. And I say this from what I saw once from a friend of mine who she's self-employed, so that means she's doing thrifting. So she sells clothes. But what she did was she moved to her neighborhood was coincidentally where at least her kids will be able to be when they come will be able to be taken care by the neighbor. So what does that mean? So that meant that the pressure of or the anxiety of we are all going to the same school, our kids are all going to the same schools. I can't make them to come and let my kids out of the school by 4 because most of our clients are either coming to me after 5 and the like. So what will happen is the neighbors will go pick the kids from school as well. So there's a support system that you have to have within, or even identify if it's existing within. If it does not exist within, then there's an aspect of just looking within the institutions, even if it's voluntary institutions that are there, if it's faith-based and the like. Do they have after-school programs for kids to come in so that you can always know your kids are safe and the like? If that doesn't work as well, like I said, you should always consider that you sometimes it's the levels of where you are at. Yeah, we don't want you to reach at the red zone. Table, you have threatened your children and the like. So especially because there's so much that goes into motherhood, I can imagine, and I like, and I think even Amen saw where I was headed, and I like the way Amen has put it, that you can consider counseling because you are a new mom. It could be postpartum, and you need a support system. Otherwise, the pressure will get to you, and your children need you. So I like the way Amen has put it right there. That it's so many changes happen with generation. So that could be also something to look into in terms of, okay, is there professional help? Because there are people who understand your situation, and they might be within access. It's just an aspect of can you put feelers out there and find them, or even you can seek within the groups that are existing, okay, groups that can offer support and counseling for especially single parents, because the pressure can be too much, too immense at any one time. Keith, you mentioned, I realized, in fact, the most hardworking employees at work are never recognized, apart from the ones loyal to boss. So balance and be supported. Yeah, that's now office politics, Keith. They're saying, because people will praise the personalities they like to work with. Even for yourself, there are people you would like to work with. The does not end with hard work. Yeah. So it's also good to know that there's something we call office politics. And now that comes the aspect of emotional intelligence. Don't and you can see, so you can just advise, but don't insist, especially when you're working with founders and bosses, because they'll very soon start telling you we don't want to work with you. I prefer to work with a yes man who will lead you to, you know. So you can just tell them, okay, you can do this. However, this will be the repercussions. So let's have mitigated enough so that we can respond. So Mwanaisha, I don't know whether that has helped in a way, or it's still vague. It has, in a way. So let me come to the next slide, and maybe this will put things in perspective more in a situation, and later on you can have a Q&A. You can tell us whether anything has come into perspective. Stress management strategies for individuals. One of them could be time management, prioritizing and delegating tasks. So that could be an issue of what is urgent and important, and then you classify it. So what is not important, not urgent, was the last. What could be important but not urgent? So we classify them in those situations and scenarios, and then we delegate accordingly, so that we don't feel overwhelmed that we have to do everything at the same time. Yeah, relaxation techniques, and this is good before, like what I do before I enter home after a long day at work. Sometimes I take some 10 minutes at the parking lot just to breathe and just put myself in a mind frame, because once you get into the house, the child is there just wanting you to see this and that and the other. Everybody wants your attention when you're going back. So it's the same thing even when it comes to issues of stressful situations. Of taking breathing, taking deep breaths and learning how to take them, or even meditation techniques. Every time you feel overwhelmed, taking 10, 15 minutes off for you to recoup, even just taking a stretch or a walk. I remember Kofi Annan in 2000, and was it after post-election violence in 2007, trying to between two conflicting political parties in Kenya. At one time, he just decided, I want to take a walk, the late great Kofi Annan, and he went through to Uhuru Park, and then he came back to resolve the issue. So one of those techniques you can utilize, and then have a healthy lifestyle. Right now, I know for most men, they're not sleeping much because of the World Cup. So you can expect at this moment in time, somebody wants to watch this and the other, and they still have work happening in the morning. And there's always that meme of I can operate with 2 hours of sleep, and then you see things happening willy nilly. Yeah, exercise is good, especially after a certain age. We find that our body needs to be more active. We move a bit slower and the like, so we need to put a factor of can we exercise it our mind as well as our body, and then proper diet and nutrition. We'd like to eat as if we were 16 years old, that we can eat all junk foods and the like, but when it comes to age, you have to be cognizant that a proper diet is good. And also it's based on the work you do. Yeah. There's certain work that you need more carbohydrates throughout the day. Certain workload, you don't need as much carbohydrates throughout the day if it's not too physically intensive. So it's good sometimes to just see these health talks that we have, or go to a nutritionist and just find out based how many kilojoules of energy do you need in a day and what will provide you with that. Yeah. Because I know most programmers like energy drinks. Sometimes it's not too good for your body if you're constantly on energy drinks. Yeah, sorry. And then mindset. And this could be the positive self-talk or reframing challenges. Some of these things look very weird to do. But I don't know how many people have heard about the hero pose and telling yourself, this task is difficult, but yes, challenges are there to be overcome. I'll try and handle it as best as I can. And I'm competent, that's why it's been assigned to me. So before a daunting task, positive self-talk, like the famous artist called DJ Khaled, and he seems to always be talking positively about everything. And everything in life seems to always be happening splendidly. Yeah. And he's always saying, you are the best. He's the best. So that's the positive self-talk. You have to have that attitude of a rock star when you're entering a room. Give yourself a frame so that you can reframe those challenges into things you can overcome. Yeah. Okay. And then there's the aspect of now, let's look in terms of stress management from an organization perspective. I'll go through this slide. Promote open communication. Yeah. By that is encourage managers to create safe spaces where employees feel comfortable voicing concern. So as Mwanaisha put it out, some of these things are overwhelming. They are personal in terms of the life situations we all go through. But if you can't have a space to communicate it where we're spending 8 hours a day, it's very difficult to even start addressing them. And they can be too overwhelming for all of us. So as organizations, we also need to play our part. We can't just expect our employees to be giving themselves positive self-talk, to be going towards the gym, and we don't even offer any incentives of gym membership and the like. Yeah. So we can encourage flexible schedules, yeah, or breaks. Like I was saying, like for me, if I am now in Mwanaisha's case, I would want, as an employer, I need to think about how flexible is it for the single mom, sure that her work-life balance can actually be achieved based on the needs that she has. That even at work, she can still deliver, and when she goes home, she still feels fulfilled as a parent. That we are flexible enough to realize that when it comes to things around, maybe even if it's clinics, she's the only one who has to go. So we are flexible around those, and we say, okay, which days are the clinic days? Okay, can we work around this schedule? So if there's done earlier, not on the D day, is when we tell her, no, you cannot go. So that's something in terms of flexibility, in terms of work days. Micro breaks, flexible in working hours when possible, help employees manage personal responsibilities along work. So those are things that even as we can't keep on saying, no, you are here to work, you are not here to listen to your personal problems. The thing is, your staff, they're not non-human. We're not dealing with robots where they can't have, they live lives outside the work situation. It's always going to be cognizant. And that's why you find even there's welfare sometimes in organizations where if somebody is going through a bereavement, we contribute. We don't contribute because it's a formality, but it's because we want to show that we are empathizing with their situation. Sometimes they might not even need that contribution more than the support. I remember there's an organization where one of our friends had of cancer, which was discovered very late, stage 4. But then the way the company came around and came around and worked schedule when it came to her to go into the clinic and the like, and they gave her flexible work from home situations where that even they revised her work schedule in terms of her task list around her treatment and all that. So that is what we are saying in terms of organizations. We are not just here to hire and fire anymore, but we hire and care about our employees. Provide access to counseling, stress management workshops, or mental health hotlines. And by this, it means not just a formality so that we can check a box, but let us be purposeful and intentional towards a certain end as organizations. So these are things you can recommend to organizations in terms of what they can put. It's not just a team building where if somebody says they're going to be at the tail end of everything, or you're going to now be fired by your seniors because of sharing at a team building where we are told, let's open up. Then you open up and take note of what you said and they use it against you. Yeah. So those employee assistance programs should be open towards promoting their health and well-being. Yeah. Create supportive leadership culture. Yeah. Leaders should model healthy stress management. That do as I do approach, not do as I say. Yeah. And that an example of if a boss is saying you guys are not selling, and the boss themselves is not selling, then it becomes a bit of a tricky thing. But once the boss is usually the number one salesperson, inspires even employee to go out and sell. The boss cannot say we are not offering discounts, and they keep on offering discounts left, right, and center, because then people do this. Why pricing from what the boss said? So a do as I do approach is very important, and this is usually for the leaders within the organization, because then everybody else they are challenged towards that. Yeah. Recognize and reward efforts. I'm laughing because of because of what was mentioned earlier by was it Keith? Yeah, I think Keith had mentioned something earlier to the fact that you work very hard, a little bit, none of the recognition, none of the praise. Somebody else who worked very little but talked a lot gets all of the recognition and gets all of the praise. So it's also good as an organization to have a proper reward system and let people be rewarded commensurate to what they've done, not what they're talking about or what they're saying. And that's why we are even here. We give a thumbs up, we give a clap, we give an appreciation of contributions and shares around here. It's because we want to acknowledge those are efforts that have been done. And it starts with the little things. I know of a manager who, when he sits to our brainstorming meeting, everybody's point is valid. No matter how contradictory it will be, he will note it down. And then the analysis will start later as to how practical is it to achieve. If it's not practical, then consultatively, it's when it's abandoned. It's not him who makes the decision, it's a group effort. So it to record and rewards efforts. Are we together up to that point? Anybody with a contribution? I see Sarah is here. CHRP Sarah is. Thank you for the insights and fruitful discussion. Unfortunately, I have to leave to attend another meeting. Oh, okay, she was signing out. Okay. Thank you, Sarah, in absentia. We can always get a contribution in terms of that. So we are together so far. Yeah, Jensen, thank you very much. I see you there, up and the like. So, Oscar, yes, I hope Monisha also, some of these points have assisted in terms of putting things in perspective. That is not just an individual on your side, also the organization has a role to play in terms of helping you towards managing your work-life balance. Yeah? And also now, so you can try and see what can we implement as an organization, or what is available from the organization side. What can I do as an individual? Monisha, thumbs up, or you can always unmute. Feel free to unmute anything. Yeah, thank you very much. Anybody with anything to contribute, you can always contribute. Feel free to unmute. When you start speaking, I'll go silent and hear you out. Okay, so we've looked at now strategies. So now I think it's only right then we move forward to building our resilience. Yeah, because we've looked at, okay, we've understood stress, we've seen the signs of stress in the workplace, high pressure triggers at work that will bring about, that is issues of the workload, issues of uncertainty, issues of work-life imbalance. We've seen what the cost of stress could be, up to 1 trillion annually in terms of loss of productivity. We've seen stress management strategies as individuals, maybe time management, issues of relaxation techniques, breathing in, breathing out, healthy lifestyle, even changing our mindset when approaching situations. We've seen how organizations can help us manage our stress. That is, they can help us, they can promote open communication, they can encourage flexible schedules of breaks, provide employee assistance program, have a supportive leadership culture. They do as I do kind of leadership culture, and recognize and reward efforts once they're done. So we are supposed to also build resilience out of all this. So these are what we can do. But we now go towards building our resilience. And resilience comes from the Greek word resilire, meaning to jump back or to rebound. That is, okay, I'm managing, I've gone out, I've been able to handle this issue. Now I'm back again. Now I'm back again revamped. Yeah, I'm back again to put up a fight to see these things working, to finish this out. So it's like you've gone and replenished yourself and come back. Yeah. So it is the capacity to recover and adapt to challenges. So the challenges have come, they've hit you unexpectedly, but how are you adapting and overcoming them? Yeah. And then, so the core elements of resilience will be, number one, self-awareness. So this comes back aspect as stress signals. If I feel like physically, I'm getting headaches, emotionally, I'm being irritable, behaviorally, I don't want to report to work. I already have a stressful situation. I can ask for some time off, or either approach it with HR and say, this is the situation, this is what is giving me headaches sleepless nights every time, these uncertainties and the like. So analyze yourself. I like the example Rebecca gave us earlier. She said she was almost blowing out, but then in terms of emotional intelligence kicked in. Yeah. Emotional regulation. Instead of acting impulsively, just reacting impulsively, practice pausing, breathing, using constructive response. And that could be, the first response might not always be your best. So think about how you can respond it. Still mention what you want to say without sounding dismissive or or argumentative. So that's emotional regulation. Yeah, problem solving skills. This is how you build resilience, by breaking down overwhelming problems into manageable steps. I always say this example. Does anybody know how to eat an elephant? My hands up. Anybody? None. Yeah. So no one knows. So I'll give you a secret. How you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Not to it. So that's how you eat it, and then you finish. Yeah. So that's your secret today. So now you can all know. So next time you all know how to eat an elephant. Yeah. Thumbs up for that. Mm-hmm. So we all know now. Okay. So that's how you break down your problems. As in, it can be overwhelming if you want to handle everything at once. But how do you break it down into single individual bits? So it becomes manageable. Yeah. Social support, build strong networks inside and outside of work. You have a phone book with 1,000 people. Today, you can do an experiment and just say, okay, if I have a problem and I need 100 bob, out of these 1,000 people, how many can I ask for that 100 bob? Then, kid, yeah, or kids will ask all 1,000. So that's how you know your strong networks inside, because those are the people you go to when you're feeling overwhelmed, so that your cup can be replenished. And it could be friends, family, colleagues. It could also be mentors, mentees. It could be support groups outside. It could be fellow people who are going through similar situations we are going through. Yeah, like I know even prayer groups. Like the pastor who said, for a woman will go and say, "These are the problems I'm having. These and this and that to the pastor." But for a man, will just go and say, "Hey, I'm going through things just," and that's it. And maybe the things the man is going through are way worse. But that's it. So it's all about understanding which groups and networks we have and how we communicate within them. So good, we are together. Okay. So we've built resilience. So what are the tools and practices? Yes, Tatu, thanks for the thumbs up. So what are the resilient tools and practices? Number one, practice gratitude daily. By that it means say, yeah, I'm thankful for today, thankful for this, thank you for that, and thank you for my team, thank you for my boss, thank you for the job, thank you for the salary I'm getting. Yeah. Develop a growth mindset. Yeah. Just think about how can we make things, how can I grow further than what I've done today? How have I grown beyond this? How has this challenge helped me grow as a person? How has, for Rebecca, it will be, I now know I am more emotionally intelligent. I don't react to issues instinctively. Yeah. We'll sit down with my team and we sort it out. Yeah. Strengthen relationships at work and at home. Yeah. That's one of the tools you have. The people you are around you are the people that will help you. Fimbo ambai, hayui. Fimbo lambali, hayui nyoka. Something to that effect. Yeah. You can't kill a snake with a pole that is miles away. It's only the things that are close to you that you'll be able to smack it on the head with. Learn relaxation and grounding techniques. I cannot emphasize enough. We come from a culture where maybe it's not something that's taught. In Kenyans especially, you find in the Asian community, meditation is a way of life. Here, not so much, but we are learning. We can still adopt. We can still take time and switch off. Listen to some relaxing music that grounds you. Seek mental coaching. If you have people who have gone through something, then it will be good for you to go and approach them so that they can help on the same. So I would like to come to our key takeaways for today. Yeah. So I would like to come to our key takeaways for today. Sorry. And one of them is stress is natural but manageable. Building resilience to thrive in high pressure work. So, yeah. We need to build resilience to thrive in high pressure work. Build resilience to thrive in high pressure work. Balance personal responsibility and organizational support. So there are things you can do as yourself and there are things that the organization can help you do. Yeah. Small daily habits leads to long-term impact. So eat an elephant. Yeah. So we're all going to be eating elephants. Yeah. One bite at a time. Let's not go and try and finish the whole elephant at once. So those are the key takeaways that I'd want us to build for today. And with that much, I want to come to the Q&A session. In case you have any questions, any feedback you'd want to give, any suggestions, anything, I am open to this. I think we still have, how many minutes are this? Yeah, we still have like some, is it 11 minutes? So in case of any feedback, questions, and something of the like, I am open to it. Yeah. Okay, let me see if there's anything in the chat box. And call messages. Okay. So if there's nothing, I had this one slide. Let me look for it. For an action plan. Yeah. Maybe this could be something we take even for ourselves. We share, what could you say? Personal stress triggers. Two, just share two. And I know for some it could be a person. Okay, I'm seeing Tatu has asked a question. Can you build resilience on your system? Okay, so what I will say is this. So the resilience you are building after the challenging situation. Yeah. Let me go back to that slide. So this resilience you are building after the challenging situation. Yeah. So the self-awareness. So you are now at the stressed up situation. So first and foremost, you should be able to recognize you are stressed. Yeah. So if you recognize your stress, then you go to instance of how am I responding to this stressing factor? Yeah. Am I being impulsive? Am I now in a panic? I'm running and touching everything and anything without doing nothing. So you look at, then you say, okay, then I can. So let me sit down first and take a breather and say, okay, this is the elephant. This is the whole challenge I'm facing right now. So what do I need to do? Yeah. So is it the stress coming from a deadline I've been given? Is the stress coming from a person who's constantly maybe berating me or constantly quarreling with me? Is the stress coming from other people not doing what they're supposed to? Is the stress coming from me being given work over and beyond my capacity to deliver? So now we are okay. If it's over and beyond your capacity to deliver, the thing will be that you have to go back and say, okay, in reality, I do not have the skills. It's if we start judging its ability, that how fast a fish is with its ability to walk on land, you see, that's very difficult. So what we do is, do I have even the setup to deliver on this? Do I have skills and capacity? Even am I able to even start on that workload? So that will be the thing I'm talking about. Like now, if it's too overwhelming and it's beyond your capacity, you have to be honest enough and say, this I cannot do. And you give the feedback. Otherwise, you'll start struggling with, it's like getting somebody, I don't know, like somebody, financial analysis. You want somebody to do financial analysis, and their background is maybe nothing to do with finance. Maybe they're HR, or maybe I am a support staff, is cleaning, sweeping, and now you want me to go and start doing what? Projection and strategic plan. You see, so we have to look at capacity at that point in time. What is my main stressor? And then if it's something that I'm able to do, is it that the tasks are so many? Can I start handling out if I'm not? So can anybody help me with this? Can you help me with this? I saw you last time, you did this within 2 minutes. And it could be something as simple as maybe just putting information in an Excel or Word document and it's not aligned. And somebody else is conversant with Word and Excel. Just handing it over to them once you have done your proposal, and within 5 minutes, they're done with the editing and made it clear, and they send it back to you. And you say, thank you very much for helping me with this. You see? So now that's the social support in itself. Yeah. So I don't know whether Tattoo have helped. Yeah. And then now, as we said, so the team you have. So basically, is also the mindset issue. It could be a new issue in terms of I've been given a new challenge that I have never experienced. I am able to overcome because it's within my work purview. Let me try it out and see. I have people to support me at home and at work, but am I going to them to see for them to give the confidence you can do this, you can do this, yeah. Because if you also get people at work and at home telling you can never do this, you will never be able to do it. It's a complete opposite. And then ground yourself, yeah. Relax. If it's too overwhelming, take a breather, take it back, take a deep breath, and then start working from behind. Yeah. Any other questions? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying, so it could be an exercise we can do ourselves. Look at your personal stress triggers. Identify 2 coping strategies you can implement, and then commit to one resilience building practice, something you can take home. Yeah. I hope this session has been productive for all of us. With there not being any other words, yeah. So I thank you all for attending this webinar. I hand over to Christian to finish out. So I think you can always reach out to us. We'll be always willing to persist as best as we can. Christian, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, everyone, for
Yes, yes.
joining the webinar. I believe Kevin has given us quite a good presentation. And as he said, this is a recurring topic. It was done last year. I think it was September. And yes,
Mm.
since
The one we have,
it's
I
a
think
topic.
they have returned it. It's about to expire. 1 month. That means it's expired. And the one we have in the stock is
Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone. So as I was saying, uh, yeah, it was a very nice topic, stress management, and we've been able to touch on the stress management strategies, also how to build resilience. Thank you for that, Kevin. So, if you check the chat, I've sent two links. The first one is for the feedback form, and also if you want a certificate for this session, please go and fill it so you can get your details for the certificate. If you don't fill it, you'll get a certificate. And also, I have another link there for a Google review. Go give ACCUREX a 5-star review. It really helps to put us on the map in terms of on the Google ratings. And also, if you want to check out more of our services and what we do, please visit our website www.icurex.co.ke. I'm also putting it on the chat, whereby we also post jobs. You can share. You can share it with your friends if you're looking for a job or you want to further your career. You can also check it out. Yes, thank you everyone for joining. If Kevin, do you have something to say?
No, no. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the feedback, participation, and have a great week and rest of the week and day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Please make sure you go click the first link if you want a certificate. Give us your details. Give us a review about today's webinar. It really helps for us to gather data on how we can make this experience a better one. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a good week, everyone.